Hello, and welcome to New Beginnings Start Today, the podcast for people who want to grow deeper in their faith in the Lord. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas Keffer, a minister, clinical pastoral counselor here in Roanoke, Virginia, who has a passion for helping people live their faith. Today, we're going to talk about parents give a priceless gift, and how you can have a healthy respect for each other as a family. Let's get started. I walk at a supercenter nearly every Friday for the exercise my doctor wants me to have for my cardio regiment. I walk in our neighborhood every day for the same reason. I marvel at all the things that you can buy in the toy department as gifts for your children, young and not so young. There is row after row of things that are advertised as being the best priced items that you can find anywhere. Their advertisements are geared to make us believe that you can find anything you need to buy those perfect gifts, quote unquote, all under their roof. I can tell you there was a ton of stuff leaving our supercenter the day I was walking about when I stopped to look at all that was being offered. Folks, I am not talking about gifts for $5 or even $20. I'm talking about things that are hundreds of dollars, and they are being sold as though there is no limit to what parents are willing to spend to buy the perfect, quote unquote, gifts for their children. Looking in the shopping carts that many were filled with and of all kinds of gifts and overflowing, I saw laptops, printers, motorized cars, cell phones, baby dolls, and all the accessories that go with them, just like the Barbie craze. Bikes, skateboards, video games, a ton of those. Boots, shoes, all kinds of clothes, board games, Xboxes, PSAs, and the list goes on and on. I also was able to hear many of the conversations that were taking place between children and their parents. This is what grabbed my attention more than the shopping carts being full of gifts that were being bought to supposedly make those that were bought for happy. The conversations that I was listening to would not make me think that many of the children, young and teens, were not really impressed by what they saw in those shopping carts. The disrespect that was being communicated between the children and their parents made my heart ache. I actually saw children physically accosting their parents because they were not getting what they wanted. And what was really sad was the parents, for the most part, allowed that behavior to go on without correcting it immediately. I told my clients over the years many times, when I sit with a family, it doesn't take me 5 minutes to know who runs that family. I'm sorry to say that the majority of time it is the child or the children. This cannot be the case if we're going to have healthy, spiritual families where parents are loved and respected by their children because the children believe they are loved and cared for themselves. King Solomon gives great insight in how you can have a healthy relationship between you as parents and your children, and again, they with you. It is found in Proverbs 23, verse 26, which says, "My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways." This king understood the importance of having and how having a healthy family relationship all starts with the parents taking the responsibility of parenting seriously. When we ask our children for their hearts, we are asking them to be open and vulnerable with us. That is huge today because there are so many children that do not believe that their parents really care about them and what is going on in their lives. They do not see their parents available to them because of all the things they see their parents involved in, and it is not them. You parents have to slow yourselves down so that you are focused on seeing what is really going on with your children. When this happens, you will see how much easier it is to talk with your children about what is really going on in their lives. Let me ask you this. How long does it take you to speak with your children when you get home from work and you actually ask them what went on with their day? How long? How long does that take? Let me say to you that I want you to focus on what Solomon is saying when he says, "And let your eyes observe my ways." This principle is critical to understand as parents. What you are really saying to your children in this principle is, Sally, John, I want you to watch me, because what I tell you that I believe, you will see me live it in my actions. This is huge today, and it is going to have to be practiced more and more for us to see the family unit become what God intends it to be, loving and compassionate to one another, that is felt to be genuine. This begins with the husband-wife relationship and then filters down to the children and them believing what you say and do as parents. There is just no substitute for this kind of relationship in families where the family is working at spending quality time with each other. Families today need to evaluate how they are actually spending that time with each other. It may be necessary for you to look at your schedules and see what is really taking up your time. So many activities outside the home that does not allow you as families to really stay connected to each other. Talking to each other for families is lost because of parents being on their iPhones or their iPads, or they're scrolling through who knows what. And the children off in their rooms on their electronics that consumes hours upon hours of their time. We have to work at changing this trend so as it is affecting the family in a very, very negative way. Friends, I'm not saying to not buy wonderful gifts for your children, but please do not miss what it is that your children really need from you every day. I remember when either of our sons were big enough to ride a 10-speed bike. We got them that bike. I spent several nights putting that bike together, and what a challenge it was with so many parts to put in place so they could get up on that bike and take off Christmas morning and have a wonderful, wonderful time. I couldn't tell you how I waited and was as excited as I knew they were going to be, because the desire they had to get that bike. The look on their faces to see that gift that they really wanted was priceless. I can remember hearing again and again, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. This is awesome." There are and have been many such wonderful experiences over the years with our sons and daughter-in-laws and our glorious grandchildren. Gifts given and received that have meant so much because of knowing the love shared in the giving and the receiving. That love that has been shared is because we have built relationships with one another that is more important than a bike or a sweater, a video game, a pair of jeans, an air fryer, or any gift. These are all material things. But what has been the blessing in giving and receiving is the love that is shared between us. Friends, the priceless gift I'm talking about, I want you to give to your children, cannot be bought at Walmart, Toys R Us, Macy's, Best Buy, or wherever. That priceless gift is you. The joy that comes in your heart when you tell your children, I love you, needs to resound in your heart and spirit in a way that is unmistakable. Watching the excitement that comes when the gifts are open is wonderful, but giving yourself to your family is priceless. This is why it is so important to understand Solomon's admonition when he says, and let your eyes observe my ways. That is so profound for us today because there are so many families that are not building those deep emotional relationships. The need to have more stuff, quote unquote, is causing the disassociation in the family unit at an astronomical level. We have to get back to seeing the family in a much more relational way. This means your children will see you go up to their mom or their dad and give them a hug and a kiss. They will hear you tell their parent, I love you, and those words will have meaning because of how you treat each other. This also means that parents are going to have to be more caring to your children. They will see you hug and kiss them in a loving way that assures them that they are loved and that they are important. I cannot tell you the number of adults I have counseled over the years that tell me, Dr. Keffer, I never heard I love you, or I was never hugged. Many of those clients' parents would say that they did not have that kind of nurturing or affirmation growing up themselves. This saddens me, and we have to do better so that we will see a change taking place in homes all around us. Listen to what King Solomon says about families that live for God and are obedient to His will for their lives. The house of the wicked will be overthrown, but the tent of the upright will flourish. Proverbs 14 and verse 11. We are promised that if we are obedient to how God wants us to live as families, that we are going to flourish as families. We will have a happiness and joy that the people we interact with consistently, they need to see. Giving yourself to each other is truly a priceless gift that will allow you to live as families that are truly God-honoring. I pray that that will begin with me and my wife and our families as we set the example for others to see. That is truly priceless. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I want to invite you to contact me and share how you are interacting with your family that is building loving relationships. If you are seeing this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and the like button, and also click on the share button, which would be very helpful to me. Tell me about other issues that you would like me to address by leaving your comments. And you can email me at drdouglaskeffer@gmail.com. Until next time, God bless each of you.